Welcome to Honest Whispers Review. On this video, I'll be reviewing Yamato Girls Collection, Space Battleship Yamato 2199 Mori Yuki Salute version, 1/8 scale PVC figure released by MegaHouse in November 30th, 2013. This figure comes with the display base and an alternate arm with the detachable tablet. This figure is approximately 12 inches tall with the base, and the base is approximately 1/4 inch tall. I'm going to go over 6 different categories to review this. First category is design, covers the concept, the pose, and the overall look. And the concept is Yamato Girls Collection. This figure is part of a line of all the girls from the Space Battleship Yamato anime series. And this figure, you could see the pose. It's very cute and sexy. Obviously, she's not doing a proper salute, but with their left leg slightly bent in, very nice and playful kind of look to it. And overall look is amazing. They definitely captured her look from the anime series perfectly. In other words, it's basically 2D form come to life in 3D format. And if you look at the base, it does have a Space Battleship Yamato logo on it. So if you line it up, this would be the front that it's supposed to, or it's designed to be the front, but you can see that she's slightly looking to her left. So a pose like this is very nice, where you can display it in many different angles. So if I kind of tilt it to make it look like she's staring straight forward, this would be the angle to display it in. And of course, she would look good from the side with like a profile look to it, or even with her hand slightly covering her eye. That would look good. Or this may not look as good, but of course, if you're sick of all the other angles, that would be great. And she looks so great from the back as well, that you could probably even display her like this, so you kind of share the same perception that she's looking towards. So definitely a nice looking figure. Kind of captures who Mori Yuki is as a character. So that's why I give the design score a perfect 10 out of 10. Next category is sculpting, covers the details, quality of the sculpt, quality of the mold. And starting from the top, you can see a lot of nice details to her hair. And just the way it looks overall, it looks exactly like the way it's styled in the anime series. And you'll see there's not too much lines, not too little, and very nice touch on the end of her hair being a bit translucent. Although I kind of would have preferred without it, but that is more on preference, just because it looks like her, like part of her hair is dyed. But of course, when you look from afar, it looks a little better, but still, it just feels like she has two-tone on her hair. So maybe if they mixed it up, would have looked a little better. But still, overall looks great. So it wouldn't dock any points or anything like that. And it's more based on preference. If it looked really bad, of course I would have. But at this point, still looks great. You can see the quality is very high. Every part of her body is very nicely sculpted. Everything, like the surface, is all nice and smooth and consistent. You don't get little bumps and dimples or anything like that. And you can see a lot of nice details to her costumes, like the buttons or rivets, her badges. I mean, there's a lot of nice details here. And even these seam lines have been sculpted as well. Fingers are all nicely proportioned. Even her fingernails, sculpted out, and her ears, that's kind of coming out from the side of her hair. It doesn't look like her ears are melted or anything like that. Lines are all very consistent and smooth. No weird bumps or seam lines. Try to get a better close-up here that's focused. So it's very nice. I mean, I think it would have looked just as good if the ears were hidden, but it's a very nice touch as well, or as is. Face nicely proportioned and looks good. So it doesn't look like certain angle where her face looks off or anything like that. Breasts are perfectly proportioned, especially for the way it looks in the anime, not for a real life human being. And you'll see nice little details too here, like on the I guess her back of her waist or upper buttocks. You can see those little dimpled line or indented lines right up top of her butt, or just above her butt crack area. Of course, you have to kind of look closely at it, but still you can see how light reflects off it in certain angles. So really adds that nice detail, especially because her butt is like perfectly sculpted, all nice and smooth, and which is why for me this would be even displayable from her back angle. So definitely looks great. Legs look great, and as I mentioned earlier, just the way her left leg is slightly bent, or left knee is bent, you get just the way like her silhouette changes as you turn her legs. I mean, it's a very nice touch. So like right here, it looks like she has her legs kind of closed together. Certain areas you could see it looks like she's, well, this angle actually doesn't look that great. Almost looks like her left leg is kind of breaking or something. But again, certain angles like right here, I love the silhouette or the outline of her legs and body, the way it kind of sticks out like that. So again, just the way the angle of the legs, you don't really see much of this on figures or statues, so that's kind of unique as well. Now again, the base is very nice, especially with the little Yamato badge. You can see the anchor right there on the bottom. Only thing though is that the plastic or the base, it's very cheap, just one color mold, and it's kind of thin, so it just feels a little bit flimsy, or a little bit I mean, the quality's still good, but again, it's just not that I guess sturdy or strong, or I mean, it's kind of fragile. So last thing you want to do is kind of press it down too hard, where the plastic might kind of bend and crease and then create like a discoloration. So definitely want to be careful with that. And again, I look at this as closely as possible, basically looking for any type of imperfections. I mean, there's certain areas where it looks like imperfection, but the way they sculpted it actually looks like real leather belt. So whether it's an imperfection or not, it looks great, rather than having like a perfect smooth cut. And if you look at the detail of the gun and the holster, you can't really see much of the gun, but still it looks so real, like I could open the holster myself and take the gun out. I mean, it's amazing details, and so very consistent, especially with the lines. All the way down to the bottom of her feet, you could see the soles have been sculpted. I mean, this is the quality I would definitely expect from something, from a company like MegaHouse. all of their statues and figures so very consistent in quality. Now, as perfect as it is, there is a problem here. Perhaps it's too perfect. And the thing is, you can see how nicely her right arm fits in that seam line. Well, the problem is it's too tight. And I try to take it out for this video to, you know, change the arm. As you can see, the peg itself is pretty thick. So taking it out, I mean, it's really tight. I didn't want to risk breaking it because you have to pull so hard on it. And I try to kind of twist it a bit as I, you know, or wiggle it as I pull. Really wouldn't budge. And last thing I want to do is like press my fingernails or anything like that too hard on the surface, where it might create like an indentation. And for me, I like the salute arm better anyway, so really not much reason for me to change it, especially because the alternate arm, she would be holding it very close to her chest, so part of her, I guess part of her body gets covered from that alternate arm compared to the salute arm. So, but still would have been nice if it slid in and out more easily, so that changing it won't be such a hassle. That's why I give the sculpting score a near perfect 9 out of 10. Next category is colors. Covers the accuracy of the colors, quality of the paint, and quality of the paint application. And as you can see, a lot of these parts have been assembled or molded separately and then assembled. So you can see how the hair would definitely be a different piece. But as far as the colors, it's perfectly colored, very accurate, especially to how she is colored in the show. A great example here again, although it's not like perfect coloring, but right here you could see a bit of her costume and everything. So the details and the colors are very accurate, or exactly how you would see from the anime series. And when you look at the paint quality, it's very nice. The eyes most likely have been imprinted, so symmetrical, very nice. And these lines are so consistent, so the paint applications are pretty much perfect as well. But as far as the quality, you'll notice that her costume is very shiny, so it has a very nice glossy finish to it, compared to like her hair or her skin. For instance, her face or her hands, they have a matte finish, or most likely it wasn't even painted, because that's just the color of the plastic that it was molded by. So very nice technique on that. And you'll see the gun holster has some airbrushing to it, so it adds that realistic leather look, and just has that it just has a realistic shading to it. The belt doesn't have the shading, but still, just the way they use the matte brown like this definitely does have that real life leather look to it. You can see even a nice painting job on the buckles, where certain areas could be very difficult. And again, these seam lines on her suit are pretty much perfect. I mean, there's no, you know, squiggly lines, and I don't see any bleeding at all. All the lines are within its border, and you could even see here with her Yamato badge, her name, and her stripes, even her shoulder pads, or I wouldn't know what to exactly call them, but these embellishments on her shoulders, very nicely detailed. And again, the fingers, it's so small but perfectly proportioned. Even the fingernails, I believe, may even have like gloss finish to it. That's why it kind of shines. So very nice touch on that. And again, even on the back, all the lines very consistent on the seam lines. Don't see any squiggly lines or any bleeding. I mean, this is this is the quality that all like figures and statues should have. Now, if I had to look for any place that might have been like a flaw or anything like that, would be one of these seam lines right here. It just looks like the line gets a little bit lighter, or in the middle it just gets a bit darker. Although you have to look at it from every angle, because the reflection of the light can kind of distort the line itself. But you could see how right there it just gets a little thick and really thin. But beyond that, I mean, there might be one more right here. Of course, it's going to be very hard to find. Here we go, right here. The line just gets a little thin. But this is also part of her suit, which is supposed to be like fabric. And again, it's something you could only see when you're looking at really up close, because even from even if you're like mid distance, you can't see any of the flaws. And the flaw is too small to even say it's a flaw. Right here on the back, you might see almost looks like the line kind of stopped, although it's just very thin, not much ink. Show you in different angles so that it's not the reflection of the light that you're looking at. Again, and when I pull it back a little bit, you can't see that error or that mistake. So really can't say it's a mistake, or can't really say it's, you know, big enough to dock any points for it. And that's why I give the color score a perfect 10 out of 10. Next category is packaging. Covers the design of the look and functionality. And as you can see, this is a nice 4-color window box with a huge window in the front, but also has windows on the top and windows on both sides. And you'll see the shape of the windows are very unique. It's actually cleverly done, because these are the same shape of the windows you would see inside of Space Battleship Yamato. And you also notice that all sides have different images or pictures. You'll see the top, it has the Yamato name with the anchor logo. The front has the anime series name. Mid close-up shot of Mori Yuki, the Space Battleship Yamato logo or silhouette, and Mori Yuki's name. And you'll see that the sides have different pictures as well. On the box's left side, you'll see the back of the figure, and on the box's right side, you'll see the front of the figure. And for the back, you'll see both figures, one close-up, one long shot, but displayed with different arms. So you'll see both the saluting arm and then the tablet arm, with some nice screenshots of the anime itself, the logo or the silhouette of Yamato, Mori Yuki's name, and you'll see on the background the Yamato ship itself in deep space. Company information or product information as well on the bottom of the back. And for the bottom itself, you'll see the same Yamato silhouette logo and then Mori Yuki's name written in English and kanji. So the box is very nice, very high quality look to it, nice glossy finish, so you'll see how the light reflects off the box itself. So definitely gives that nice quality look to it. And even on the back of the inside, you'll have a little cardboard insert. It shows the Yamato name and the anchor logo as well. And for the plastic protector, well, definitely keeps the figure and its parts in place so it doesn't sustain any damages or anything like that. So very well designed overall, and definitely functions as it should as far as protecting the figure itself. So box looks great, very high quality design. My only complaint would be that you'll notice that they used the thin cardboard for this. So this kind of reminds me of the same cardboard you would see from the packaging or the box of a Bishoujo figure from Kotobukiya. So it can be a bit fragile. If you dropped it or anything like that, it'll probably cause like a little ding or a dent, like right here on this edge of the box. Very small, but it's really hard to take care of. Of course, if they use the thick cardboard, the box probably won't look as good. So because you won't get this nice flat surface with one of the thick cardboard boxes. So it's not really a complaint or something that I would dock a point on, but it's still something I would point at, because at least a box like this is harder to take care of and easier to damage the box compared to the thick cardboard. With that said, I still give the packaging score a perfect 10 out of 10. Next category is value, covers the suggested retail price versus the quality, and does this have aftermarket value growth potential. And when it first came out back in 2013, I believe it retailed at around $85. With tax and shipping, you're paying more closer to $95 or upwards to $100, which is around what I paid for. It's been about 7.5 years since it came out, and right now the lowest I've seen for a used one is at about $90, which goes up as high as $110. And for a brand new one, I'm looking at the lowest at around $150, as high as $150, with either free shipping or shipping included at the average cost of $15. So this figure does have aftermarket value, or at least this version does, because the original version, or the submarine suit version, for a new one, it's about the same price as it was when it first came out. So unfortunately, the submarine suit version doesn't have any aftermarket value at this point. I think one of the reasons why is because this character is just not as popular or known here in the States, while back in Japan or overseas, she basically has like an iconic status because she's one of the first popular anime heroines of all time. She's, which dates back to the 70s. So she's definitely well known back in the Japan or back overseas in East Asia. This one still has some potential to continue growing. I don't think it hit its peak yet, but unfortunately just not as high as you would see with other popular figures that's already been released. That's why I give the value score a solid 7 out of 10. Final category is overall, accumulates the 5 prior categories: design, sculpting, colors, packaging, and value. And this one, I just can't say enough good things about it. It looks amazing. I like the pose, just playfully cute and sexy. And the quality, whether it be for sculpting or for painting or colors, the quality is amazing. Very consistent, very high quality. The QC is, the QC did a very great job in this. This is basically a near perfect statue. The only issue I have with this is the switchable arm. I mean, it fits nicely and it's almost seamless. You don't see any weird gaps or anything like that. But unfortunately, it's very hard to take out. So it's a huge hassle to switch the arms. Fortunately for me, it came with the saluting arm, the arm that I prefer. But beyond that, I mean, it could have been a perfect statue. But due to that being such a hassle, I do have to give it a hit. And that's why I give the overall score a near perfect 9 out of 10. So to recap, design 10 out of 10. Sculpting 9 out of 10. Colors 10 out of 10. Packaging 10 out of 10. Value 7 out of 10. And overall 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Until next time, continue reading the King James Version Bible and eat your vitamin C's daily.